What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Goldenboy FCW here, and this is the debate section. Sorry for the delay, but we had to make some adjustments, as Nate Schott's not going to be joining us for the first portion of it, but we have two amazing guests joining me, which is RJ34 is my regular, that dude's the bomb, and we're going to have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Aviator, well-known YouTuber. Everyone knows him and loves him. So, guys, how are you doing today? RJ, no ninjas in pajamas. I'm disappointed.
What's going on, man? I'm sorry, I couldn't figure it out. I just got back from work, so I'm kind of
I don't appreciate your lack of costume. So it's
wake up, man. Wake up. I got faith in you.
And Aviator, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, man. I know that you had some action with the Call of community. Last night we had a nice little show match. Before we get into our topic, let's talk a little bit about that Call of community business that you're working on. What is it, and how stoked is everyone for it?
Yeah, man. Well, Call of Community 2, actually, it's our second time around. This past summer, we put together in 5 days, myself, Pirate Puncher, Juicer, and a few others, kind of spearheaded this group of YouTubers who brought together YouTubers and MLG superstars for pretty much the first time ever for charity. And we put 3 YouTubers and 1 MLG player on each team, and basically just had a show match. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was really entertaining, and we raised over $23,000 for charity, and we're trying to raise $100,000 this time around.
Nice. And what's the charity that everyone's going to be playing for?
Yeah, man. Well, we're actually all raising money for Thirst Relief International. They actually provide clean drinking water around the world, and they do it all for $4 a person for 30 years. So wow. $100,000 will help bless a lot of lives. It'll be really, really cool.
That's amazing, man. Well, shout outs to you guys and YouTube community, and that's actually a pretty interesting thing because part of our discussion today is going to be in reference to that. The general topic of this debate is that Call of Duty has dominated the casual scene. It's evidenced by them dominating the Xbox Live leaderboards. It was 1, 2, and 3 with Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, and Modern Warfare 2, respectively. But can we see similar success in the esports scene, in the competitive gaming portion of Call of Duty? And a funny thing to point out too is that if we could just got like 1 or 2% of the viewers to tune in to a Call of Duty match, we would trump a lot of other esports titles out there, which is pretty crazy. Now, Aviator, I know that you've been a big pioneer in this, really spearheading the YouTube audience and working with guys like myself, as well as, Fwiz and all kinds of people. Where do you see us in a year or two from now when, Treyarch releases their game? What do you think can happen? Can we see the competitive scene grow?
Well, you know where my heart is on this, and that's that competitive gaming is where the future is. It's where all these kids who have grown up in soccer, or grown up in wrestling, or whatever else, will be driving themselves toward a concept where there's actually, money on the line. They're doing something worthwhile. They can prove to their parents and their friends for the first time ever that, they're doing something worthwhile, and that's awesome. And for me, watching competitive players in the COD space is epic. And I look at Call of Community. The first Call of Community, we had 9 million subscribers represented just by the YouTubers who were involved in that event. Yeah. And this event, we have 15 more YouTubers. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me how quickly, if we were able to drive those people over to seeing how exciting that the competitive side was, I think it'll be really cool to see how quickly that we're able to grow that in the next couple of seasons, because it's starting to happen. Different YouTubers, guys like Xtraws and Team Art, are getting involved in MLG teams and starting to, see the light, and that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to T-Mar who tweeted out the show today, so I'd like to thank him. Now, RJ, your thoughts on the whole thing coming from a sole competitive side, and now you're breaking into the YouTube scene. So this is kind of like a reverse process. This Aviator was a YouTuber, and he's breaking into competitive. So I like getting the opinions of the best of both worlds. So, RJ, your thoughts on the whole issue at hand?
Yeah, exactly. Esports is only getting bigger, and Call of Duty is getting huge. You can see by they sell the most copies than any other game. And with the Call of the community, that helps so much because it brings the YouTubers and the MLG players together on one team, so everyone gets to see the best of both worlds. And that could only be good for competitive gaming, as well as pubs as well, because pubs are great, everyone loves that, and then they can see how competitive gaming will work with the best players that they see on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
I definitely agree with you there. But and then moving on though, in regards to the YouTube scene, one of a very popular thing in the YouTube scene is sniper montages. We see it with FaZe Clan, we see it with Optic Gaming. Montages is a very, very big thing with snipers, I should say. I know that I'm not much of a sniper myself. I do enjoy watching them from here to here. I actually watched a lot of FaZe Clan's videos recently. I thought they were pretty cool because Nameless directed me in that area. So. Now, how is and this RJ, this is going to be for you because I want to take this in a perspective of a competitive gamer looking to generate unique and creative content for YouTube. What are your ideas? And you don't have to spill your secret ideas, but like, what are your ideas to try and revolutionize the competitive gaming scene and integrating that into YouTube?
Oh, that's really hard to do. I think that's more on the developer's side because with Call of Duty, it's kind of hard to grow a competitive fan base, mostly because there's a new game every single year. So that means the people watching have to relearn a new game every single year, and that makes it incredibly hard for people that aren't as knowledgeable as everyone else is in the game. So it's more on the developer side. As far as players, it's just you just keep creating content, be interesting, show that there is skill involved in competitive play. It's kind of hard. You have to break out of the stigma that competitive gaming is kind of boring and not really fun to watch compared to pubs and stuff like that.
No, I mean, I definitely understand. A lot of people that I talk to that I'm like friends of mine, people I want to integrate into it, they obviously have their opinions on competitive gaming. Aviator, your thoughts on the topic? Because I know you generate unique content on a daily basis. So what's your thoughts?
My niche in the YouTube space is pretty different. I'm not just about gameplay. Half my videos are gameplay related, whether it's Call of Duty or Forza or Skyrim or whatever else it might be. But half of my content is all adventure based, actually taking people, for instance, I took them to MLG Orlando and to Providence this year on 2 or 3 different videos, showing people the behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't see elsewhere. And that's kind of where my direction is. But taking that and trying to turn it into the competitive side of how Call of Duty will be shown and shared and played, it's definitely going to be an intricate balance because you definitely want to entertain people and show them what's special and what's different. And it's very easy to do as a player. Guys like RJ or MLG Scump, these incredibly strong slayers can easily put out videos that A, highlight their talent, and B, highlight their personality. They can absolutely sweep the YouTube space because it's pretty tough to touch them as far as players go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our MLG guys, our competitive gamers like RJ, as well as, Nate Shad, you mentioned Scum. I know John from Fear has been doing a lot of YouTube-centered content, trying to be creative and educating. And I think that's the cool thing. I think that's something that we need to do is educate and teach people that, our game is not as different as one would think. There's some minor adjustments, but you will become a very, very good player tenfold. So now moving on, though, to the other forms of networking and getting more content out there. Let's talk about COD Elite. Now, COD Elite has been pretty good with doing their Friday night fights. I know the producers of that show have contacted me in the past in regards to coming up with creative ideas. Those guys are amazing. And I know that they want to continue to drive new and competitive gaming focused content over there. But what about the clan features and all that stuff? I don't know if any of you guys have COD Elite. RJ, you're a super fan, so I'm going to assume that you have it.
See, with COD Elite,
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, do you have COD Elite?
Yes, I do have COD
There
Elite.
you go. See, I was right. Boom. Walking
It's
out.
it's good for but as far as clans right now, the only purpose of being in one is the extra XP. They really haven't put out tournaments yet for a clan. Maybe they'll have a leaderboard one day, maybe like a game battles type of format, and that'll help out a lot. But as of right now, they don't have that. It's mostly just for getting double XP when you have so many people in your clan. You know what I mean?
Interesting. So, I mean, obviously, but I'm sure, because I did read, though, on Kotaku that is something that they are working on fixing the clan features. But I wanted to touch base on it because I think that something like that, when I used to play Halo 2 way back in the day, everyone remembers the giant clan system in Halo 2, which was amazing. You went into minor clan match, major clan match. And I always felt like that was such a key portion of, just getting people into that competitive spirit. And I think COD Elite would do the same thing. Aviator, your thoughts? Oh,
I'm
and
sorry.
RJ2, whichever.
I just wanted to say one more
RJ,
thing.
take it away. Take it away.
I just want to say one more thing about
RJ.
this. That's one step towards making the developer give the players something more than pubs to play for. So that's one step in getting towards the competitive scene. That's the last thing I want to say. Sorry about that, Eric.
Good point.
No worries, man. You know, for me, it's an interesting balance because there was a lot of debate back and forth on whether or not COD Elite was going to be worth spending money on. In my opinion, it was absolutely worth spending money on pre-release, simply because they promised all these different DLCs, and you're going to be getting your values worth right there. For those of us who play a lot of the game, it actually made sense. However, now looking at it, you know, it's been, what, 2 months? And actually, gosh, yeah, almost over 2 months now, and we still have our first DLC. We're still dealing with a lot of issues with the service itself. I feel a bit gypped out of the $50. Hopefully they make up for it in the future.
I mean, I'm sure that they will. I mean, I know that they see the grievances of a lot of people in the community. I just look at something like COD Elite, and I see it as such a great stepping stone for people who want to get into competitive gaming, because there are a lot of people out there that are afraid. You know, obviously they don't want to come across some of their favorite players online, like, you know, Aviator or you, RJ, or maybe even some guys from Optic, and then they get completely dominated and then they feel like cheated. So I know that's always been something that has been an issue with competitive gaming. So obviously COD Elite is going to be instrumental in that in the future. Let's see how that develops moving forward. But now actually let's go to that. And RJ, earlier you mentioned about the yearly release of Call of Duty and how that kind of affects the casual audience and just the gaming audience in general from having to switch from game to game. But wouldn't one think that that would be a good thing, considering that it's always fresh and new content, unlike something that may be released for 10 years and then stays that way? I mean, I look at it as fresh new content. Pretty sure you can agree.
Well, it's good for sales, don't get me wrong, but to keep someone's spirit into a game, releasing a new game every year, you kind of throw the last game in the past. So it's getting new stuff in the game. They throw a lot of stuff into the game, so there's more stuff getting thrown at you. You have to relearn everything. And for the casual viewer, that's just detrimental to what we're trying to do for competitive. Look at StarCraft's success. They had the first StarCraft was, what, like 10 years?
Yeah.
And exactly.
No, I mean, it did last a while. But, you know, something to point out, though, going back to that article on Major Nelson's blog, he put that Black Ops was number 1, MW3 number 2, and Modern Warfare 2 was in the 3rd place slot. So, obviously, people are still playing the older games. You know, it's not like they're being tossed to the wayside now. Like, you know,
But
it's
they're
safe
not
for like
playing
Call of
one
Duty 2
COD.
or
They're
something
playing
like
3
that.
different games. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're not focused on one central thing.
Yeah.
So,
but then the topic comes into play, though, is we can look at a game like Madden that had a pretty interesting competitive scene, and they get a new release every year. Obviously, the game for Call of Duty is different as every release continues. I mean, because you have the Treyarch releases that look completely different from the IW releases. So, Aviator, just moving on to you now and talking about what you may want to do to try and help and bridge that gap with your content. Do you see things like the yearly releases as an issue for someone like you, or does it just benefit you in the long run?
You know, in my opinion, the issue is going to be that if we don't have a game that's constantly changing, the simple nature of console players, and this is no offense to any of them, I'm a console player myself, and especially competitive players, is that there is a significant lack of focus. As soon as that game is, say, 7 months old, and I watched this happen with everything since COD 4. COD 4 people were still excited about when it was until Modern Warfare 2 was out. But since COD 4, by the time you get 7 months into the life cycle, every competitive player I've met is bored out of their mind and can't wait for the next game to come out. So with that in mind, there's definitely something to say that's, you know, yes, we might have a more competitive scene if you had more years to perfect your skill in that game. However, not that many people would want to continue playing it, and I think the pro circuit would actually be smaller because of that. There's definitely something to be said for a refreshing pro circuit simply because of new players coming into with new games.
I definitely agree with you. That is something that I wanted to point out earlier, was how it I feel like it's a good thing, and there was something I wanted to say, and I lost my train of thought because your choppy screen, it was like a notebook, so it was just like it was killing me.
I don't know why it's doing that. It's the weirdest thing
with
ever. I think it's a screen capture problem issue. It's like, ah!
I'm just
It's like
messing
watching a
with
flip book. It's fantastic.
it's like a flip book. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like a flip book. But talking about that yearly release thing in the 7-month life cycle, you can say. One of the things is that I think that obviously it all boils down to how we've been playing the game too, which I think is something to take note of. You know, today we saw the Pro Mod, and I want to get each of your guys' thoughts on that one, in just a sec. But the Pro Mod section of it, I think, was pretty engaging and interesting to see snipers coming into it, new strategies potentially being developed. We saw, more of a 3-man push, one guy staying back. RJ is a competitive player. What did you think of that Pro Mod, and could you see it being beneficial in the future?
Absolutely. I am 100% for Pro Mods. Back in Modern Warfare 2 Nationals, me and Fizzerk, which was my teammate, we were the only 2 players that actually sniped as our primary in Nationals for S&D. And we did well. Our S&D was our strongest game type at Nationals, and I really think that Sniper brings a whole other element to the game that you don't see with just 4 guns. And what will help this game is if we can get a patch to make it 1 minute and 30 rounds, you'll see a lot more frequent sniper kills. It'll be so much more exciting, and it'll bring it'll make players known for something. You'll be like, oh, this guy has an awesome sniper shot. I'm a big fan of his. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I thought was pretty cool because we were highlighting Shuckles as Shuckles was struggling with the sniper, but as soon as he dropped it, then we saw, I think it was Tate, I forgot who it was, but the sniper was then doing work, and then Shuckles was just dominating up front with the ACR.
S4V runs this shit.
S4V. and Aviator, you're a member of Optic, if I'm correct.
I'm an honorary member of Optic. I won't
Optic.
claim that title, man. They're legends over there.
No, without a doubt. But you're an honorary member of Optic, so obviously to some degree you enjoy the snipers, you enjoy that kind of that kind of style of play as well as the content they produce. What did you think of the Pro Mod tournament today?
You know, what I'd love to see, and this is the absolute truth, I would love to see Pro Mod make a big comeback on MLG. If you take a Pro Mod team against any other team, now obviously there are some incredible players on the MLG circuit today, but you take an old school Pro Mod team, I'm going to say, and I'm putting myself out on a limb right here, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. I'm not going to say they're going to sweep it, but they're going to be tough as heck to beat. Those 5-man teams are well balanced. They all know their roles better than anyone else. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think it was just the development that we saw as the game moved on. That's something that excited me more about it because I'm always saying, I want to see more strategy. I want to see people trying different things out. And I think, with the Pro Mod, it was refreshing to see a sniper on the screen, the Predator scope. I love that. So I guess for both of you guys, it's a resounding yes for Pro Mod?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch. One of the things we're doing with Call of the Community too is we're actually using 5-man teams in hopes that a lot of the teams will be working this as a Pro Mod style. We're not enforcing that rule. Obviously, you don't have to have one snipe, etc. But our goal is to see these teams are starting to play toward their strengths a bit more. And you never know, that might start influencing the nature. That'd be really cool, I think.
Yeah, and RJ, would you come back as a top-tier sniper?
Let's do it up, RJ.
I would love to.
I know.
I miss them.
I actually saw some of your gameplay in MW2, and I remember that there were some guys who used snipers. I remember in the COD 4 National Championships, I remember Choppy was playing on Crash, and he had Bear 50 cal looking down at the crash site. So right at the mid. So I like snipers. I mean, obviously they're not going to be good for every situation. One thing that I did notice in it, and RJ, I'm pretty sure you did too, was the overuse of the machine pistols. Would you think that taking out machine pistols would be a good thing, or would it, kind of nullify everything and just ruin the experience?
It'll make it a lot more difficult for the snipers, and it might make it so that the snipers won't push out as much. I know in Modern Warfare 2, when I sniped, I used the PP2000, and that gun was basically another UMP. But I would like to see it taken out because I want the sniper to be a sniper. I don't want him to be running around with something that can essentially be another submachine gun.
I mean, I agree with you there. Aviator, your thoughts?
Absolutely agree, man. You have to be able to help people play their roles. The whole purpose of any kind of a classification of rule sets is simply to keep people playing in the most effective way possible for the role they're playing. And you can't do that by giving a sniper a gun that basically you can cross-map with or play up close and hip fire for days. It's don't get me wrong, I love playing with the PP2000, but I don't think it's very effective for competitive play.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. So I guess pretty much in closing, gentlemen, I would like to thank you all so much for joining me today. I mean, I know that Aviator last-minute clutch, like always, you're the bomb.
You're the serve, man.
RJ, thank you so much for being a regular on this. As I continue, I personally was like, RJ, let's go. Because you always bring a good discussion to the table. So, guys, we'll start with RJ. Any shout-outs you want to make like usual? Make it good. Make it lengthy.
Shout out to Fwiz because I see him in the chat and he's the man. Shout out to Aviator because he's also the man. And shout out to my 1,000 new subscribers today. So thank you.
1,000? Wait a minute. I got to ask something. How did he get that? How do you get 1,000 subscribers?
Gypsy Magic.
Wow.
Gypsy Magic. I think, well, guys, big shout out to callofcommunity.com. Take a moment out of your day, mark down on the calendar, January 22nd. We're having a long stream starting at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And it's all for charity. We're trying to raise $100,000. If you have 50 cents, send it through PayPal. Take some time out of your day. It's going to be a great, great time. And no doubt there'll be some crazy moments with some insane YouTubers. And I have to say, I think it's the most fun that MLG players have all year. These guys are insane on there. It's a great time.
Yeah, I remember the first one. It was a blast to watch. So, RJ, what's your YouTube, by the way, so people can hit you up on there?
It's youtube.com/R0B6. If you type RJ34 on YouTube, my video pops up somewhere. So.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Famous. And Aviator, your YouTube as well, even though you have like 1 million subscribers?
My YouTube is youtube.com/aviator, spelled normally, or youtube.com/THEAV8TQR. See, I got the leet speak, but it's really weird leet speak, so no one understands. So I got both.
Oh, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I mean, I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for weighing your opinions. And I hope to have you guys back. RJ, you know you'll be back, so expect a phone call in the future.
Sounds good, man. Can't wait.
Take care, Alex. Have a good night.
All right. Take it easy, fellas. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Well, that will be it for today. That was the Golden Debate, which, by the way, I did not name. Puckett named it, so don't shoot me for that. But, you know, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Continue to support competitive Call of Duty. Continue to preach the name out there. I will be on the Game Battles forums talking with people. Of course, you can hit me up on Twitter at GoldenboyFTW. And since everyone was plugging their YouTubes, I might as well because I'm going to be releasing some shoutcasts. So you can go ahead and check that out. YouTube.com/GoldenboyFTW TV. Yes, Robski, I kept it. And that will be it, ladies and gentlemen, for Weekly Warfare. I'm Golden Boy. Take it easy. Have a good night and happy slaying.
Welcome to MLG's Weekly Warfare. We got a team change rumor.
Saints might be one of the best players in the game.
If we add more things to a game, that's more things we have to focus on.
The Type 95 hipfire being nerfed, that's a good thing.
The way you had it was perfect. It should just be CTF and S&D.
The flag will be pulled. Beautiful stop there.
So as they try and defuse the bomb, taking the fire from the left. I don't think so.
He managed to take one guy out.